I want to first of all introduce Rebecca Murray, DTM. She's going to be running the training session today. Rebecca, please take over.
Thank you, VJ, our Division A director. I'm Rebecca Murray. I'm just a plain old Toastmaster, but I am a DTM, which is why I'm wearing this shiny little pin here. And it is my privilege today to share with you some things that I've learned along the way over the years to make this job, VPE, a little easier. And that's what we're here to do today. This is the biggest job, and I would say the most critical job in a club. And thank you to all of you who have said yes to becoming the most amazing VPE your club has ever seen. Let's go over what we'll be covering today. We're going to be covering the 6 main responsibilities that you have. We're going to talk about ways and ideas to make this job more fun, more doable, maybe share parts of it together. We're going to think creatively and collaboratively. So for the first 30 minutes, you're going to hear me speak. Then at 12:30, we're going to go into breakout rooms. We have some experienced Toastmasters here who are going to be facilitating a session on one of each of these top 6 things that we're going to cover. Then we'll come back together, share some ideas that you have, some best practices with the rest of the group, and then we'll finish up with a Q&A and final thoughts and amazing resources that we have for you. We're sharing those at the end. Okay, so what did we put in here? What is the one thing? Oh boy, you guys have a lot of things. That's great. Let me share some of these here to be an effective VPE, how to encourage our busy members to participate in speeches. Yes, good one. Learning more about pathways, VPE's primary responsibilities, just learning something new, systems, etc. And I think the breakout rooms will help facilitate with a lot of these great ideas that you have that you can learn from others, not just Rebecca Murray. All right, let's take a look at what are these top 6 things that I am referring to. And here we go. These are our top 6 things. We have meeting schedule, Basecamp Manager, Pathways Trainer, Educational Awards, Mentor Program Facilitator, and the Speech Contest, which happens on a club level in February, which means you need to start talking to your club about this probably December or right at the start of the year. In your mind of these 6 things, meeting schedule, Basecamp Manager, Pathways Trainer, Educational Awards, Mentor Program, and Speech Contest, please share in the chat which of these top 6 things takes the most time every week. Which of these things takes the most time every week? Dedicated time on a consistent basis. Let's take a look here. Schedule. Yes, schedule. That's what we're going to talk about first, meeting schedule. Now, if you wanted to ensure that your club would not thrive, I know this is a backwards question, what would you do about your schedule? Yes, you'd ignore it, right? You go to your meeting and you're like, well, who feels like giving a speech today? Or who feels like being an evaluator next week? Anybody interested in that? But I'll tell you what, we will laugh at this, but I've seen it happen. I've seen that happen in clubs. So the number one way to help your club thrive is for you to take control of the schedule and to have a system to do it. Please either raise your hand if you have your camera on or put a yes in the chat if you use a system like Free Toast Host or an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets. What is the system that you use? We use Quip. I've not heard of that one. Okay. The point is have a system. Share that system with your club so they understand it, they know how to participate and engage with it. But here's the thing. It is your job, and this is one of the biggest jobs of the VPE, is to create equity when it comes to speaking opportunities. Equity with speaking opportunities. And what do I mean by that? We all know there are people in the club who would speak every week if we could. Just let me speak. I'll be there every week with a new idea, a new speech off the top of my head. And then there are folks in our club who are like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. This takes too long. It's too hard. It's our job to support everyone's educational journey, even if that means sometimes giving a little push. Now, if you have someone in your club who every time you schedule them for a speech, the day before gets a headache, has something come up, you notice this pattern with certain folks, then it's your job as that educational champion to reach out to them and find out what's going on. And here's what you may discover. I just don't know what to talk about. It takes me hours and hours to write a speech. And I'll bet you they're not the only ones who have this struggle. So another thing that you get to do, this is pretty awesome, is to tap some of the more experienced people in your club or bring somebody from outside of your club to do a special educational session on speech crafting or topic selection. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Now work with your executive committee, but every now and then I suggest switching it up and having an educational session. Tina, would you mind unmuting and remind me of the educational resources, what those are called in terms of the sort of the packaged programs that Toastmasters has? Oh, Successful Club Series is one of those.
Yes.
And the Better Speaker Series is the other.
Yes.
And those you can find at Toastmasters International. And they're basically canned programs, but they give you an idea or at least a foundation from which to educate on how to give a better introduction, how to craft a speech, all kinds of great things that are educational oriented for all members. So again, you can mix it up. You're the VPE. Okay, we are, so number one, have a system. Number two, be the champion for everybody's educational goals. Now, how do you find out a person's educational goals? How do you find out? You ask them, right? You can give, so I've seen some VPEs, there's a survey that Toastmasters has. You can give a survey at the beginning of the year, or when somebody becomes a new member. You can give them a little survey so that or you can have a one-on-one Zoom call or phone call, and you ask them, what are your goals? Now you know, and you can keep going back to those when the person is struggling. So let's go then. I'm going to go back to the wheel of names here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to let the wheel of names, I'm going to take this one out. And we're going to let the wheel select for us. Woo! I'm so glad we just talked about what we did, because what I was leading up to was the mentorship program. It is the VPE's responsibility to match a person, a member who wants a mentor, or if you have a standard in your club to say that every new member has a mentor. Now, what some clubs do is it's not the VPE's job to be the mentor, but it would be the VPE's job to find a good fit for somebody who needed a mentor and introduce those parties and have them work together. So you would ask somebody, would you like a mentor? And for a new member, boy, isn't there a lot to learn? There is so much to learn. We have to learn meeting roles and protocol and pathways and how to craft a speech. There is a lot to learn. So having a mentor, somebody who can at least take them through the first couple levels of Toastmasters, can can help them out a lot, and it takes pressure off of you as the VPE, as having to be the resource for everything and everyone in your entire club. Now, here's an idea that I got from another club last year, is that they actually have a VP of mentorship. They just made up this role in their club. So that person works with the VPE, and that person is responsible for making those mentor marriages, let's just call them that. Now, this could be a level, there's another club that shared an idea on that. You don't have to be a super experienced Toastmaster to be a mentor. You don't have to be a DTM or have some credentials after your name. Really, truly, in Pathways, if you get through the second level of Pathways because you have that mentorship project in there, that could be, this is what this club did. They said, okay, you're going to be basically a junior mentor. You're going to have the opportunity to mentor a brand new Toastmaster once you've gotten through level 2 of Pathways. So they call that a level 1 mentor. And what does this do for that person who just completed level 2 of Pathways? This gives them a leadership opportunity right off the bat. Now they're becoming the expert. And how do we learn things best? When we teach them. That's how we learn them. So that's just another idea for you. And those of you who are going to be in the mentorship breakout room, maybe you can bring back some more ideas along those lines. Again, let's try to take some of these responsibilities off the VPE's shoulders, because just that scheduling piece alone is quite a bit of work. All right, let's go back to the wheel of names and see what's next. And where did it go? Oh, here. All right. Close this out. Let's see what's next. Pathways trainer. Yes. Well, you know, it used to be once upon a time, Toastmasters had manuals, and manuals made the life for the VPE pretty darn easy. We'd all bring our manual to the club. We'd open it up. We'd do a speech out of the manual. We'd hand it to the evaluator. The evaluator would fill it out. We'd get done with the manual. We'd hand it to our VPE. They'd go log these things in at Toastmasters International, and we're all happy. Now, with Pathways, some things have gotten easier, and some things have gotten, I would just say, a little trickier, maybe. Not necessarily harder. But this particular, the Pathways training is a learning curve. Let's face it, it's a learning curve. And I personally would not want any brand new Toastmaster focusing on Pathways until they've gotten through their icebreaker, until they've been in the club for, I want to say, for at least 4 weeks to learn the roles, learn the relationships, build relationships with other club members. So it's not something that any new member needs to do right away. But again, here's a great idea that came from another club. They have in their club a vice president of Pathways, somebody who likes teaching new members Pathways. This does not have to be the vice president education. It can be someone else.
Rebecca,
yes?
are you meaning to share the Zoom meeting with us?
It was still being shared. That's weird because okay. Anyway, yes, double trouble here, double trouble. So what was I saying? What was I talking about? I was talking about Pathways. Pathways, yes, thank you. So they have a vice president of Pathways, which I think actually is a great idea. Now, in the resources that I'm going to share with you at the end, there's a number of things, and this is something that I recommend you taking a look at and maybe using in your club. What I like to do with new members is I give them a download, and in that download, it has everything that they will need to do their icebreaker speech. It's everything from Pathways right in this one download. So it gives them the worksheet, it gives them the project, it gives them a little bit of education, so they don't even need to log into Pathways to do their icebreaker. So you as the VPE, you get them comfortable, assign them a mentor, or have somebody assign them a mentor. They learn the simple roles and they're working up. And now it's their icebreaker day. Their mentor has helped them build them up, build up their confidence. So now they give their icebreaker. Now they're feeling great. Now they're excited about being a member because they've just received the most amazing evaluation and they're totally pumped. Now's the time to dive into pathways. Now's the time. So 4 to 6 weeks, that's what I say. And these resources that I'll share at the end will help facilitate that process, not to overwhelm the new member, because we all know what happens when somebody gets overwhelmed. Sometimes they leave. That's the last thing we want. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see what's next here on our wheel of responsibilities. And there's not going to be any sound this time because I forgot to click that button, but we're just going to, I'll hear the sound. Educational awards. Okay. The winner is educational awards. Now, once upon a time, we used to have these little, this was before COVID. Didn't you guys have the little ribbons that you would hand out for educational awards, which you can still do when you start getting back together? You can also print out a certificate and email it. That wouldn't be fun, but I'll tell you what's fun: to make a big deal at the meeting. So you decide, you have a discussion with your executive committee, who's going to have the fun and be the one to make a big deal out of somebody's educational award achievement. So this new member we're talking about finishes level 1. That is a big deal. What are you going to do? You set the tone for this. Now, you could also find somebody who, if the president wanted to do this, all you need to do is you need to make sure that the president knows this person won an award. Or you could say, you know what, I really love being the one to make a big deal out of people's educational awards. Could you please let me do it? And you decide, are you going to do it at the beginning of the meeting, at the end of the meeting? How does that work? Are you going to have confetti that you throw, around, or balloons, or sing a song? What are you going to do to make sure that this person knows that they are appreciated and that they are receiving accolades? Maybe even give them an opportunity to give a tiny little acceptance speech for their award. You can do anything you want. Just make it special. Just make it special. Recognition. Recognition is what we love. It's one of the reasons why we give each other trophies for recognition. So let's talk a little bit about, we're gonna dive into Basecamp Manager in a second here, and just let me make sure. Yeah, okay, because those two go together. But let's go back to our wheel of names and see what's next. And there's actually 3 things that go together. It is the Pathways Trainer, Basecamp Manager, and Educational Awards. So let's see what's next here. Good, Basecamp Manager. Okay. That's exactly what I was hoping. That's exactly what I was hoping next. Now, those of you who have never been a VPE before, when you log in, I'm just going to go to Toastmasters International right now. Let me change tabs here. Here I am, I'm logged in at Toastmasters International. Now there's a couple of things. So let's take a look first at Pathways. We're going to go to Basecamp. And then once you become a VPE, that was weird, I'm already logged in, but I will log in again. Happy to do it. Come on now, there we go. Now you see I am not a VPE for Burlington Better Speakers. However, I am the VPE for Laugh Lab Story Masters. And now you will see 2 buttons. I can go to Basecamp to look at my own transcript, or because I'm the VPE for this club, I can log in as Basecamp Manager. When I do that, I see 3 different options: pending requests, member progress, and manager tutorials. If you haven't looked at any of these tutorials, they're very short, very to the point, highly recommend. The thing that I'm going to focus on today is pending requests. Now, here's what happens. You've all put in you've all submitted for level completion in Pathways when you finish a project, right? You go through when you finish a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, at the end of that, you submit a level request for completion. That ends up here, and the VPE gets to see it. Now, there's nothing waiting for me here, but if it was, I would see a member's name, and then way over on the right-hand side, I would see actually both a red check and a green check mark. If I click the green check mark, then that member is notified that they've been approved for level completion. When they log into Pathways the next time, they see that check next to that level, and they're good to go. Here's one thing that's really important to understand about this in terms of notifications. And let me show you what the notification looks like that you get in your email as the VPE of your club. Do you see this letter here? It says, "Where leaders are made. Dear Vice President Education, a member in your club reached an important milestone in Toastmasters." So they give you the member's name and what level is completed. That's how you know that you need to log in as Basecamp Manager and approve their level completion. There are up to 2 people in your club who receive this notification. You as the VPE, and whose ever email address is, let me show you whose ever email address is listed as the contact in Leadership Central. And let me show you what I mean by that. Leadership Central. So Leadership Central, this may be new for some of you. Leadership Central is, so you click on Leadership Central, you go to Club Central, click on that, and you'll see all kinds of buttons here. I'm gonna check Laugh Lab Story Masters. And if I go down here to Club Contact Information, you see that? This is when somebody goes to Toastmasters International and they want to find a club, and then they submit their name and you get a request from Toastmasters International. "Hey, this person's interested in coming to your club. Please reach out to them." This is the email it goes to. And for this club, see this email address where it says wespepper@hotmail.com? This email address also receives that notification. So whoever it is, whoever that needs to be, you're the one that needs it, but just to let you know, someone else is also going to receive it. And if your member is a member of 2 other or 3 other or 4 other clubs, like some of us are, every single Vice President Education that member is associated with is also going to receive that email. So this will create confusion. What I would suggest as the VPE is to find out which members in your club are members of dual or are members of more than one club, and to tell them when they are submitting a level of completion to let whichever VPE that they want that point to go to, whichever club that they want that point to go to be clear who should get that. So that means that they need to communicate with every single VPE in all of their clubs and say, "Hey, Rebecca, I want you to take this for my club. Hey, Tina, please don't take this for my club." Does that make sense? It's created a lot of confusion. I'll just say that. It's confusing for me to even try to share it with you. But basically, everybody's going to be scrambling to take that point if it's not clear who should take it. So that is step number 1. Step number 1 is taking the point in Pathways, which has nothing to do with taking the point at Toastmasters International. These are two separate processes, and how you would do that is you would log into Leadership Central like we just did, and right up here where it says Submit Education Awards, you take the point in Pathways, and then you zip over here and you find the member in the list. So let's just say it's Christine Meeker. And then Christine, I'm going to drop down here, and I know what I'm looking for because remember I got that email. So let's say that email said, Christine just finished level 3 in motivational strategies. I would know to come down here, take this one, and then review and submit the award. But of course, I'm not going to do that because she didn't really, and we're just pretending here. Okay, last, speech contests, and then we're going to go to our breakout rooms. This is what I recommend for speech contests. Get help, delegate. Don't do it yourself unless you really, really want to. There are a lot of people in your club who are on level 3, 4, or 5 projects that need a project like this, that would really benefit and flourish from a leadership project like putting on a speech contest. Get help from other clubs too. There are lots of ways that you can get help, unless you really want to do it. It's a great thing to do at least once. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to give you an overview of those 6 things. Now what we're going to do is you're going to go into breakout rooms for 10 minutes. Those experienced VPEs are going to facilitate an idea discussion on the breakout room. We have 6 breakout rooms and they're all labeled. So take a look at what breakout room you're going to with each of these 6 ideas, 6 topics, 6 responsibilities that we just talked about. So for example, you might be in the meeting schedule room, or you might be in the Basecamp Manager room. So that's going to be your topic. You're going to talk about best practices, maybe some new ideas to come back and share with us. So you're going to have the facilitator, which is the experienced Toastmaster. You're going to have a secretary, and you can just use the chat to take notes. We want 1, 2, or 3 ideas coming back from this room to share with everybody. And then the third person is, we need a reporter. So facilitator, you're going to assign a secretary to take notes, and you're going to assign a reporter who's going to come back and share out your 1, 2, or 3 top ideas with the rest of us when we return. And facilitators, make sure that, try to make sure that everybody has a voice in this group. So 10 minutes in the breakout rooms. We'll see you when we get back, and we look forward to hearing your great ideas. Any questions? Everyone always says the breakout room is the most enjoyable and they get the most out of it. And I would love to hear from the reporter in each of the rooms your 1, 2, or 3 short takeaways. You have a minute to share your top 3, and maybe it's the top 1. So the first room that I would like to hear a report out from is our schedule room, the Toastmaster schedule room. Who is the reporter? Go ahead, unmute. Caroline, go ahead.
We were really encouraged to try to get people to not be resistant to using free toasts and easy speak. And easy speak, you can actually sign people up as a VPE, which makes it a lot easier. You can email, on free toast, you can email the agenda to members. Roger suggested having everyone on a rotation for the schedule rather than just waiting for people to sign up at the last minute.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, that is the way for your club to thrive, is their rotation. Equity in speaking opportunity. That will make sure your club is healthy. Thank you. Wonderful. Next, I'd like to hear from the reporter for Basecamp Manager.
Okay, and I
Debbie.
believe I can come up with 3 things. So have a system for completing things in pathways. If the person is in like several clubs, you have to make sure which clubs get the credit. So you have to really communicate with the Toastmaster that is doing those completions, and make sure that people know if they're resistant to signing up for roles, that they understand that the pathways information really it has all the information from the paper manuals. It's just set up in a different way, but it still goes through your icebreaker and the components of creating a speech and all that. And you can pretty much fit any topic you want into most of those speeches that are on the list.
Yes.
And just also easy speak. We don't use it in our club, but it sounds like it's maybe a little bit easier than for record keeping than free Toast Host. And it's free to the club.
Okay, so for record keeping, that may be, although there are a couple of not well-known tools in Free Toast Host that actually do give some pretty good records, but you have to play around with it. And I could do a whole session on that, these little gems in there. Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, fabulous. Let's hear now from Educational Awards, our reporter for Educational Awards.
I guess that would be me. So the big takeaways that we have 2 sections, award recognition and kind of meeting formats. So download certificates when members achieve those and present that in the team in virtual format or in physical format. Anyone who received an educational award, we want to be sure we recognize that and consider mailing the award if you have virtual teams. Have a monthly recognition, just something smaller, and then have an annual award ceremony. So these are things.
Ooh. An annual award ceremony, like the Academy Awards, sort of.
Very similar, yes.
Yeah. Wow, I love that idea. And speaking of awards, I just want to show you something that I was really impressed by. When I finished a level, you can get these beautiful pins, not a level, a path. When you finish a path, you can order this lovely pin. And I'm in a District 32 club, and the district director for District 32, for anybody who finishes a path, she sends a pin and a little note. So, I mean, that was really meaningful to me. And look, it's a really cool pin. Look.
That's awesome.
I know. So a club could buy these, buy one for a member and present it at a real live club meeting, or mail it if you're still not meeting in person. Yeah,
that's great.
Great ideas. Thank you.
And then just on the meeting format, I just wanted to cover this. So having a consistent meeting agenda is fairly important, but leave flexibility for including those awards and even trainings if there isn't enough speeches. And just on a personal note, Rebecca, when you're showing me your award, I recently went to an attorney to set something up. And I was really surprised to see an award, a Toastmasters award, set right next to his desk. And we had a good conversation about that and how much he loved Toastmasters. So those awards are really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Fabulous. Wonderful. Okay, next, Pathways, our reporter for Pathways.
I'll be reporting for Pathways. We covered a lot very quickly. Unfortunately, since we were talking about Pathways, it would have been great to screen share. We weren't able to, so we kind of just discussed what we could and tried to picture it. The first note was understanding that when changing your home club, when trying to get in and award points, if you're in multiple clubs, I am not, a lot of you are, that does not actually change what your home club is. It's just an odd usage of language. It doesn't change your actual home club. It's just the club you are managing at the moment. There was a great note of the old school way was to make a spreadsheet of goals and places to keep track of people's places in Pathways, their goals, their education, how far along they are in progress. Let's see, we had another really good one. that you can create a team. So you don't have to just have our standard officers and where they are kept. You can have an assistant to the VPE. You can have a pathways manager.
Thank you. Those are some great ideas. So mentor program reporter.
Mentor program. Tony.
Yeah,
So we came up with assigning a mentor at the first meeting of a new member and kind of figuring out what that relationship is going to be, how long it's going to be. We loved your idea of the icebreaker packet and sending that out even before they join Pathways. So we took that one to heart. And definitely delegating the mentorship program so it gets one thing off of the VP's plate.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. I'd love to hear from the contest reporter if they're still here.
Yes, I can represent my group in terms of sharing what we discussed in the breakout session. And we distinguish because there was a member who was new to Toastmasters, so we discussed different types of speech contests, including international speech contests, evaluation contests, etc. And then we also discussed how to judge, how to choose judges and how to judge during the contest. There are forms and guidelines, very clear guidelines from Toastmasters International. And there is a very good point provided during our discussion that was to invite judges outside of the club. That would be very helpful. And also experienced Toastmasters as judges and encourage members, especially new members, to participate and sharing with them the benefits of participating in the speech contests. And another good advice was combining resources from different clubs in organizing contests. I think that's something I didn't consider when I organized the club contest in my club. That's it from our breakout session.
Okay, Jiwa, thank you. And thank you to all of you who shared your wisdom and your great ideas to benefit the rest of us. This has been a wonderful, wonderful collaborative session. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our PQD, not PDQ, Tina Tate, DTM, with a very important announcement.
Well, I'm going to try and be PDQ right now. The main thing I want to talk about is to let you all know the changes in club officer training. And I want you to take this information back to your clubs, share it wide to people that you know, that people do not have to attend role-specific training to get credit. They can attend any of the training sessions and get credit towards Super 7. So any of them, they can pick one. So if they've been in a role for several years, they can go to one of the other leadership tracks. If they're brand new and they can't make it on a day, they can go to another training and get credit. Hopefully they'll go to something that they will learn their role from, but they can go to any of the trainings. And then Linda has a very quick announcement as well, and I'm done.
This is the very short version of the brand new incentive that we have. Start a brand new club between now and September 30. Get all the way done through the chartering process by September 30, and the club will receive $200 D2 to get your club started off right. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Wow, $200. That's huge. Thank you. I think I'll quit my job and make Toastmasters my career. Oh, wait, I'm already doing that. Okay. Don't you feel like that sometimes? Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for spending an hour and 5 minutes of your Thursday with all of us. I really appreciate your time and everything that you shared. And I just want to point out that the documents that I shared are the packet that has the new member information for the icebreaker speech, that you can give to all of your new members, along with a couple of sheets on pathways. And then there's some free Toast information and roles information in there as well that you can actually brand for your own club. You can take that and use it and put your own club name on it. So it's all there, along with a video that I made last year on those top 6 things and my contact information. So thanks again for coming today. Really appreciate everything that you've been able to share today.
Thank you, Rebecca, for an excellent training session here today. I really appreciate your time.